What up? Thank you for joining. You guys' support, thoughts, and comments are super, super helpful and so appreciated. So thank you for supporting my journey along the way. It means the world. My next guest, my next friend, she is a fitness enthusiast. It's her job, it's her life. She spent years in gymnastics. She did some crazy stuff with controlling and manipulating and getting her body to do what she wanted it to do. So I'm excited to get into this bad boy and see what y'all think. So let's go, baby. For the people that don't know you, a little bit of like what got you into the fitness game or in the health and fitness world in general is my question.
Yeah, that's a good one. So growing up, I was in an athletic family.
Yeah.
I have 3 siblings and we all did sports. And so my sister and I were in gymnastics. And so we did 10 years of gymnastics, and that sport...
Starting at what age?
When I was 8. So
Yeesh.
8 to 19. Yeah. And that sport was like everything. You know, we would wake up, go right to school. I was excused from PE my entire life. Yeah.
Because you're doing way more than PE.
Because you're doing plenty of exercise.
Wow.
My last class, I got special privileges to always have study hall, so I could leave class early and go to the gym. Yeah. And then we would be at the gym. Practice was from 3:30 to 8:30 every night. You get home at 9, eat dinner, take a shower, do your homework. Insane. And that, like, I loved it. Like, that was my thing. It becomes your whole world, your whole life. It becomes your identity almost.
Wow.
And it's an all or nothing kind of a thing where you can't just like half commit some days. You have to be mentally there 100%. Like, they don't care if you've got rips on your hands, you're bleeding everywhere, you put a piece of tape on it, you go again. If you split the beam and you're crying and shaking and you can't even like move, you get up and you don't leave until you get it right. Like, it's 100%. You have to turn off your body. You have to mute it. You have to like work through everything, work through your pain. You stop listening to yourself because you're so committed to your sport. And what happened was that led me to so many injuries, ambulance rides, surgeries, all of that. And my senior year, I ruptured my Achilles, and it was insane. And I kind of think of that as my turning point in health and fitness, not because that ended my gymnastics career, because I recovered. You have to relearn how to walk and run and all of that. And I did that, and I went to college for it. That was my dream, was to do college gymnastics. And I did that, but I was never the same. I never was at the level that I wanted to be. Because
of the injury or?
You kind of lose a lot of your power, and I was never the same.
Wow.
But so moving on, so then I did go to college for sports. As I was a student athlete. I did gymnastics my freshman year. Like I said, it wasn't the same, and the program wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. So I got recruited to be on the track and field team. And I pole vaulted from sophomore through senior year. I pole vaulted.
Stop
Super weird, yeah. Yeah, I did.
Oh, that is nuts.
Yeah, super funny. And I don't think I ever loved it as much as I did gymnastics, but it was a really good transition, really healthy for me mentally to like start to realize that my identity wasn't in my sport and, you know, all of that, which is a really big realization for a lot of people that, you know, no one talks about. But yeah, so then I did that through my senior year, and I still had a huge transition after that, because you go from being an athlete where someone tells you what to do, when to do it, where to do it, and you have meets to work towards, nationals, PRs, all these things that you're working towards, and then all of a sudden, nothing. You're set free, and you're like, what do I do now?
Wow.
And so for me, that was another big step in my fitness journey, and figuring out how to be healthy was, okay, well, I'm now humbled because I feel normal. I don't have this, you know, crutch to lean on of like, oh, I'm healthy. I have this sport. I have this thing that keeps me active. And now I have to learn how to do it myself. And so you're kind of left to your own devices. And some people take that in stride and they learn. And some people just let themselves relax for the first time or let themselves go. And they're like, I've put so much into this.
Right. For
I'm
yourself.
over it. Yeah.
I deserve a break.
Yeah.
I mean, to an extent, yes, you do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't need to be at the same level that you were.
Right.
But for me, it was...
Wow.
It was, yeah, like I said, very humbling, because then I was like, okay, well, I have to learn. I have to go to square one. And so I started thinking, like, okay, do I want to be a runner? Do I want to try to pick up another, like, recreational sport? What do I want to do to be healthy? And I decided I wanted to start lifting weights. And so I looked up videos on YouTube. I looked up on Instagram tips and tricks and how to do these things. And eventually I decided I wanted to become a trainer. Wow. So I went through a program, and I am now an NASM certified personal trainer.
Wow.
And fitness coach at F45. Jeez. And essentially I'm just a fitness trainer with a really big passion for women's health. Obviously people's health, but my background and passion is for women specifically in a holistic sense. Like, not just physically, but how are you like emotionally and mentally, spiritually, because you can be the fittest person in the world, but depressed.
Oh, yeah.
Because your emotions or your spirituality or just everything is so out of whack. So how do we balance that? How do we get you healthy as a human? So that's what I'm really passionate about.
How do you not let what you're doing become who you are? You gave everything for this sport, for this activity that went away.
Yep.
And then there's Maddie left.
Yep.
Like, how do you get through, okay, now it's gone, now what? I would think people would have identity crisis at that point.
And I feel like I did for a little bit.
Really?
Especially that first year, it took a lot of soul searching of like, okay, well, who am I then? I've wanted this my whole life. I've put so much into this. And like I said, now I just feel normal. I feel like I don't know who I am or what I want to do. What am I good at?
Wow.
Especially in the world of gymnastics. I don't want to limit other sports, but just because that's what I experienced and my friends have experienced, that is a lot of it has to do with your body. You know, like your whole sport, you're in this tiny little leotard, everything's on display. You're being judged on how good you can make your body look and how smoothly you can go through skills and make yourself look flawless. Wow. And so the transition out of that, of being like, okay, everything I've done up till now has been determined on my body. Wow. And now what do I do? How do I get out of that mentality of just focusing on that? And it's been hard. And a lot of my friends are still struggling with that.
I can't imagine.
Because, you don't have your identity. And for me personally, I mean, the only way I got through it was because I have my identity in Jesus. Right. You know, like, I don't know how you can get through it without that, personally. I know that you can try. But until you figure out things to rely on other than something so materialistic, that void isn't going to be filled. And it probably wasn't filled by my sport. You know, like it felt like it was my identity. It wasn't. Right. And I think that was probably something that fueled that passion. You know, like, I want to be so good. I want to be the best. I want to be the gymnast. I want to be that girl. Wow. And I think part of that probably could have been fixed earlier on if I knew what was coming and if I leaned more into my identity that I now know. But I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just, to me, it's like, I feel like that's you can copy paste it to anything. Like this, it's so easy as humans. Like, we've been trained, I think, at least in my life, I've been trained that what you do is who you are, and it is the farthest thing from the truth, because what you do changes all of the time. It's so fluid. Yep. You could be, someone else could be a gymnast, have a major injury, and they're nothing. But I feel like the thing that's so powerful to me is like, that's never ever what we're meant to be. We're not, their identity is not wrapped up in the things that we do. It's really cool. It's a benefit and really awesome. We can use those things. Right. Was there anything going through that you felt like was remotely helpful in the process of transitioning out of that?
Yeah. I think, first of all, finding a way to be active, first and foremost, because physical activity does so much
Oh my gosh.
for your brain.
Yep.
Releasing those endorphins, it would turn my entire day around, even just mentally, knowing like, okay, well, I move my body, I sweat, I felt good. So first and foremost, I made sure to work out every single day, even if it was walking on the treadmill.
Right.
Like, I don't care what you're doing, do something. And then I actually had, this is a different conversation, but I had these thought patterns that I started recognizing that were harmful.
Wow.
And so the first thing you need to do is figure out, what are those thought patterns and how do I recognize them? Because sometimes they're subconscious. Sometimes it's you're walking past a store and you look in the window not to see the clothes, but to see your reflection.
Wow.
What is going on in your head when you're doing that? Is it you're just seeing yourself?
Wow.
Are you actually curious, or are you judging yourself based on what you see? You know, and so it was times like that where I would catch myself like looking in a mirror, looking in a window, or at the grocery store, you pass, you know, those mirrors above the deli meat or whatever, and I catch a glimpse of myself and I felt bad.
Wow.
And I started to be like, okay, what's going on? Obviously, this is conscious and subconscious almost.
Yeah.
What are those patterns? And once I was able to kind of point them out and nail it down, I knew that I had to change them. And so your thoughts are like a field. So you imagine your brain is this big wheat field. And the first time you have a thought, it's like the first time you walk through the field. When you get to the other side, you'll look back and maybe you can see the path that you took, maybe not. But the more times you walk that path, that wheat is going to get laid down in a path. And so the more times you think a thought, the more that path is going to become a pathway in your brain.
Wow.
So then,
Dang.
yeah. And what happens is the next time that you're even in that arena in your brain naturally runs down that path.
Holy
and if that's a
smokes.
negative thought, you automatically start having those negative thoughts even subconsciously. So what you have to do is consciously decide to walk a different path and take a different route in your brain. And so what I would start to do is I wrote down 5 power thoughts, is what I would call them. And every single time I caught myself looking in the mirror or looking in a window or just feeling that way about myself, I consciously told myself those thoughts. I am beautiful.
Come on.
I am loved.
Yep.
I am worthy. I'm a child of God.
Yep.
And I'm strong. Ethan and I are shopping, doing
Yeah.
groceries, and I like start saying these things
Yes.
to myself under my breath or in my head. And it has done so much for me. And I'm not perfect.
Sure.
And I don't think that I'm done.
Sure.
But it's been huge in my ability to not place value on the way I look, the way that I perceive myself, or the way the world perceives me. But like you said, like finding a new source of identity.
Wow.
That's kind of the path that I took to get there. Yeah.
What got you into the health and fitness game then, like officially?
So career-wise, I tried a couple different things out, and I just wasn't super excited about anything. And so I came back to the one thing that I still loved, which was working out, being healthy. And so I started working at a cycle studio as a studio coordinator, and kind of started to see the fruit in that again. Just getting to know the instructors, getting to know the community, seeing how huge fitness and health can be in someone's life. And so then I decided, okay, well, I want to impact people. I want to reach the women who are lost, who are not, I don't want to say uneducated, but who are being fed the garbage that's in the fitness industry. And so I want to be able to like reach them. And so how do you reach them?
That's a really good question.
That's
You
where
have the
I'm
answer.
at. I mean, I'm trying.
Ready? Just kidding. Wow.
So I created a fitness Instagram.
Yeah.
And so now what I'm doing is I'm working on reaching those women, finding the ones who are lost in their journey, who need a little help, who want the community, who need the support, who don't even know how good they can have it.
Wow.
I want to reach them. And so that's kind of where I'm at.
So in being in the fitness space now, I feel like there's so much garbage and lies about your image and your worth in order for you to want someone to love you or need you, which even that of itself is so cheap, I feel like, because it's all for sex. It's all for this thing that's not, I feel like it's like a hollow attempt at love, which is ironic that we do all of these things for love. Like you could pick anything. We become like, there's a documentary of a guy who climbed a mountain to prove to his mom, and his mom still wouldn't approve him or affirm him. So it's like, given that there's clearly a gaping wound in us as humans, like this open space, I know there's got to be so many questions, and I would assume there's probably a common thread of things. Hang on a sec. What is the main thing, or is there something that kind of seems to be a common thread through the questions that you get asked?
On
Instagram or just in general? I mean, Instagram, I think, is an easy way to access you.
Almost all of the questions are either, how do I essentially get smaller, lose belly fat, whatever, or questions about me and what is working for my body. How much do you eat? A lot is what do you eat?
Right,
how much
exactly.
do you
They
eat?
want to know. What's the secret?
They want to know. They want to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, because they want to look like me.
Right,
or they ask those questions to the other people that they follow.
Right,
That's how Instagram works, is
Right.
especially in the fitness world. You see an image of a girl, you want to look like her, you follow her. You buy her supplements, you do her program, you do her workouts, you let her brainwash you.
Wow.
And take all your money.
Wow.
And you still don't look like her.
You too can go get surgery and look like me.
You could be a bikini body competitor for 5 years, and you can do all this stuff, and then preach health. Wow. Yeah, and there's a lot of companies out there too that just, they prey on those weaknesses. They prey on the gaping hole that we're trying to fill.
Wow.
And so they have all these huge health companies who, you're a fitness coach to all these other people, and they just, they give you protein powders that are superfoods, and it's all garbage.
Right.
It's all just to keep your money in their pockets and keep you just, eating all their garbage that they're feeding you.
Well, and I feel like, I forget what diet it was. One of my friends was like, oh, I'm doing this new diet, and they send you all the foods, and you eat the food, and you lose weight. I said, what happens when the food's gone, you run out of, then what? Who's taught you anything? Like, no one's equipping.
Yep.
It's like you're saying, then they can keep the money coming in, because it's designed to fail.
Yep.
How do you cut through the noise?
And that's what I want to do someday. That's what I am super passionate about, is one day having something, whether that's a program, a business, a book, whatever it's going to be, to lay it all out there. Because I am educated.
Yes.
I do know what works. I do know how to be healthy. And I also know how to get emotionally healthy, physically, mentally, spiritually, all of it. But the only way that you can reach people currently is just be honest, be open, be vulnerable. And I'm just sharing it. And
That's got to be super helpful. Like, I would imagine that I think we as humans are so finicky or so funny when it comes to this. Like, look, I'm not perfect is so profoundly attractive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then when someone else does it, we're like, wow, that's amazing. And then you have to do it. It's like,
it's terrifying.
I don't want you to, but like, what is this thing that we think we're holding up, or that we're like, what is this other thing? Because if we have to tell the truth, what is what is not the truth? It's a lie. It's not. So what has been some of the, have you started to notice, like, as you're just being real and doing life, you've started to see impact or change in your posts or people you're talking to?
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is in messages.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because I get those messages of, what do you eat? How much do you eat? All that kind of stuff. And I get messages from girls who said, hey, I'm eating 1,000 calories a day and I'm still not losing weight. This person told me to cut more calories. What do you suggest? And I'm like, I will literally drop everything that's going on in my day to message you for like 5 hours, if that's what it's going to take, to get you to see that that's not okay.
Wow.
You know? Or I'm trying to think, there are some other really cool messages. I posted the other day that I eat a little bit of chocolate every single day.
Come on.
And the amount of messages that I got broke my heart. They were like, you eat chocolate every single day? How is that even possible? Like,
wow.
So many people don't know or understand that that's okay, that you can be healthy doing that. You don't have to. There's just so many weird, and I don't want to say weird, but just skewed perspectives on
super skewed
food and diet because of the way the world projects it. I pulled up an ad, or I pulled up a video on YouTube today, and there was an ad, and it had this guy, and he says, is your banana or your apple at lunch destroying your diet? And I was like, this is why people are scared of fruit. They're afraid of it. The keto diet. People won't eat a banana these days because they're so afraid of it. And so I feel like my impact has been, whenever I get a message that is like a cry for help almost, that's when I feel like I am doing the most.
Wow.
Is when I'm hopefully the voice that they hear that is like a wake-up call. Like, wait a sec. Is this real life? You can do this? You can eat chocolate every single day?
Seriously.
Obviously not, a ton of it.
5 bars at a time.
2,000 calories of it. But,
right.
You can enjoy life and not be so constricted. So I get messages like that where I feel like that is where I'm acting the most. Like, yes, I'm posting, and yes, I'm hoping people see it and follow along and enjoy it and relate to it. But I feel like the messages is where I get the most. Or even in person, just being able to encourage people to keep working, keep seeing that the perspective isn't just what you look like, but just how do you feel? How can you be healthy long term? Like, we just had someone who came into the studio who they were like, yeah, I just turned 40 and my friend just had a heart attack and I want to be healthy and like I want to live.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, that is why we should be in fitness. Yes. That is why we want to be healthy, not because you want to look like this girl on Instagram.
How do you go about responding? Because I think that people can easily, especially in the day and age now, it's like, well, easy for you to say because you look the way you do. It's like, it's harder for me because, I've tried this. I've had conversations with people. Well, I've tried everything. I've only eaten vegetables. I've only blah, 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 and I still gain weight. Or I still don't look like you do. So first question is, how do you address that? And then for someone who is seriously like, I want to know, where would you encourage someone to even start looking?
I would ask them, what's their why? Why do you have this goal? Why are you eating the way you do? Why are you working out the way you do? Why are you the way you are? And not as like, and like that sounds so mean.
No, it's so profound.
It's, what is your why? Are you depressed?
Wow.
Are you unhappy? Did you just have a baby? What is going on in your life to get you to where you are? And why do you want to get to here? And if those are all healthy reasons, let's do it. I will teach you the science behind it. I will teach you the workout routine. I will teach you how to keep your mental health in check. But unless that why is for good reasons, you need to start here and figure it out.
What are good whys? Sorry to interrupt, but I'm so curious because I feel like, someone can walk away and watch this video. What is a good why?
Specifically for someone who's starting out,
sure.
overweight. A good why would be obviously long-term health.
Sure.
But beyond that, you want aesthetics. You want to look good. You want to feel good.
Right.
So it is a good why to want to feel at home in your body. Not to feel like you deserve that dream body that you saw on Instagram.
Wow.
But to feel at home in your body. Because I feel like some of the things that are being preached these days are, here's how I got my dream body.
Yes.
5 steps to get the body of, whoever.
So-and-so.
And I don't care about that.
No.
You have an entirely different bone structure, muscle mass, everything, genetic history. There is literally no way you're going to get that body. But I do believe you can get your dream body.
Wow.
Not, the body of your dreams,
Yes.
but your dream body. So if you want to feel at home in your skin, I don't care if that means your body fat percentage is 20%, 25%. If it's in a healthy range, you're healthy, and it can be your dream body.
Wow.
And if you feel at home in it, great. If you feel like you're uncomfortable in the skin that you're in over here, let's get you comfortable over here. But like I said, only if it's a good why.
So then the next question would be for the person that is like interested in starting, what are some good steps to start moving towards, like taking care of their body?
Getting educated, first and foremost, and not just latching on to the first thing that they find. Because the first thing that you find, maybe it's great, maybe it's terrible, but you need to really look into everything. Look at all the different options, because you can search the word diet. Who knows what you're going to find?
Right.
But if you look up the science and the nutrition, like you said, figure out how it works objectively, not subjectively. Don't follow along just because you saw one person lost 30 pounds. Don't do exactly what they did.
No.
You need to figure out how it works for humans and then decide where you're going to move from there. Talk to a nutritionist, talk to a trainer, talk to several.
Yes.
Get a really good holistic perspective and then decide what your steps should be. But I highly recommend talking to a nutritionist specifically, because they'll be able to look into your background and look at allergies, deficiencies, all those kinds of things. How are you going to make sure that you're fueling yourself? Because it really is important to have a good breakdown of proteins and carbs and fats. You need it all.
Right.
Your body uses it all. So unless you understand that, you can get really lost really fast or damage yourself because you tried to go keto because you wanted those quick results and you just do something more harmful. So I would say just educate yourself in the biggest, broadest sense that you can before making a decision and moving forward with that.
So how do you start making progress then? Is it like taking small steps instead of allowing this to seem like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to understand this? Because I know I went through that. It's like, you want me to do spreadsheets and take care of like, this is how my calories in versus calories out. Like, what's my PMR, my TD? It's like, what? So where do you start without feeling like I'm never going to get there? Because I know people feel that all the time.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I'm even done learning yet. So I just want to put it out there that like, I don't think I have everything figured out. I don't know everything there is to know. Right. But like you said, baby steps. Yeah. First, figure out your goal. Because my goals are very different than your goals. Yeah. You're putting on muscle, you're bulking, you have a specific goal in mind. Right. If your goal is just to live a healthy lifestyle, that's very different from the bikini body competitor who has to follow such a strict regimen. But I say the best thing you can do is keep it simple. No one's going to get overweight or unhealthy eating fruits, vegetables, healthy grains, and proteins.
Yep.
There's no way. Because your body, you can't eat 2,000 plus calories of carrots. There's no way.
Your pancreas would die.
You'd be miserable. So if you just simplify, cut out all this processed stuff that your body doesn't recognize, doesn't know how to tell you when you're full, just keep it simple. Sometimes I even like to think of it like, what would a toddler eat?
Oh, wow.
What do you feed your toddler? Do you feed them... maybe you feed them a treat now and then.
Right.
Great.
Yes.
Feed yourself a treat. Yeah. Most of the time, you're going to give them apple slices and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Something simple. But if you keep everything very natural, unprocessed, that's a great place to start. So first things first, cut out all the processed stuff, and then later figure out the specifics. Figure out how much protein do I need? How many carbs do I need? All that kind of stuff. You can figure out that later. But if you just take the first step of simplifying your diet, eating whole natural foods, that's a great place to start.
Well, I feel like for the long term, that could be saving someone's life.
Oh, 100%.
Like cancer just went bye-bye or whatever. In the direct messages you get, basically you're talking about people, in my opinion, valuing themselves besides reaching through and shaking them and saying, look, you matter, or some form of that. How do you get someone or to even begin to see that first?
I think the goal, because I can't make anyone feel anything.
You're right.
I can't force them to see their worth, which I wish I could, because I would do it to everyone.
Yes, wouldn't it be so nice?
Oh my gosh, yeah, just change everything. But if you're not able to be happy where you are now, what's the point? And so it's helpful to show that and remind people that of your whole life is going to be a journey. You know, you're going to have ups and downs. Your body is always changing, but you as a human, you're you. Wow. You're going to be you your entire life. This is the one set of skin that you're going to be wearing.
Wow.
You need to love it. You need to decide to love it because you're stuck with it. You know, like your body and your mind, they don't change.
Wow.
So you need to choose to be okay with who you are. That doesn't mean that you have to settle. I'm not saying that you have to settle with anything, but you need to choose to love yourself every step of the journey. Whether or not you're happy with where you are in that step, if you don't find your self-love and your worth, it's not going to just magically appear. I just wanted to encourage people, and I tell this to girls all the time who message me, who are, like I said, they've got a skewed perception of themselves or a wonky thing in their head about food. I point everyone to go see a therapist. You have no idea how impactful that is and how not weird it is.
Yes.
There are so many people who still think only crazy people go to therapists. Only crazy people need counseling. Everybody needs it. And if you have any sort of weird mental thoughts or emotions about yourself or about food, whatever it is, just go talk to someone. You're not alone. When I was looking up stats, because I have these, I have my own perception of how many women I think struggle with this. So I looked it up. 90% of women are uncomfortable or self-conscious.
Gosh.
90%.
Holy crap.
Insane. 1 in 8 women have suicidal thoughts because of their body image.
That makes me sick.
Yeah. It breaks my heart. It makes me want to cry.
Oh my God.
What was it? 10% of 9-year-olds make themselves vomit because they are so ashamed of their body. And that's just insane and breaks my heart. And that is what I want to change in the world. The stuff that is being shown and portrayed and it's just terrible. So that needs to change. And all those people in those situations, they need to know that there is hope. There is a future. You don't have to live that way forever. Yes. Food isn't meant to rule you. Your body image isn't meant to control your day, control your life. Wow. That's not healthy. Wow. And that's not okay. And there is a hope. There is a future. You need to go talk to someone, not just your friends. Go see a professional because it will change your life. Like we said, you have one body.
Yeah.
You need to take care of it. You need to take control.
Yes.
Let go of all these weird perceptions you have in your head of yourself, and you need to let it go. And the thing that's really hard with eating disorders, mental health, body image, all of that, is people who are in them secretly love it. You secretly love the illness because it keeps you small. It keeps you where you are. You're so afraid of getting out of that, and you're afraid of getting healthy because you will no longer be in control. You'll no longer be able to stay unhealthily small. You know you're unhealthy.
Oh, yeah.
You know it deep down, but you secretly love it.
Wow.
And that's not okay. And you need to be okay getting healthy. So first things first is to realize that that's not normal.
Wow.
Go talk to someone and just try. Just start because there's so much more to life than that. You're so much more than your body. You're so much more interesting than the way you look. It blows my mind. So I would just highly encourage anyone who's struggling with anything like that to just go talk to someone, go see someone. They even have hotlines if you need to just text someone. If you're struggling right now in this moment,
Wow.
talk to someone. Highly recommend it.
And then the last thing I'll say, because I just so agree with therapists, and I think it's super helpful, is it's not one size fits all.
Exactly.
Like,
that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Don't be like, well, it didn't work this time. It's like, no. It's like you get off, you fall down, and you get back up. You don't lay down and like, well, I'm just stuck here for life. It's like, no, move forward.
Yep.
Because I think that's so just powerful. Because counseling and therapy, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, it is not the end all be all. But if it, in my opinion, goes like, hey, you don't have to live this way and move forward and become a better version of yourself, yes, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I was so excited to come on the show.
Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give it one of these and subscribe for more content coming at you weekly. Thursdays for now. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.